It's time for our buddy build.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to another Initiative Modeler. As Mark said, we are ready to start our buddy build, and the purpose of this video is to give you guys an idea of what each of us have planned to do with the kit that we're going to be building here, just as we did with the Invisible Man. Now, I want to say that, first of all, this is not going as smoothly as I wanted it to go. I actually had intended to record this introduction with Mark. This last weekend was Model Zona, which is a model show put on by the IPMS chapter there in Phoenix, and I happened to have some time off, and I was able to attend it with Mark, so it happened this last Saturday. A lot of great work there, a lot of wonderful entries, which I'll show you some of them at the end of this video. And since I was going to be there, I thought I would record all of this with him, and I did. Unfortunately, as I was going through the video, I accidentally deleted my portion or my description of what I plan to do with the kit. So what I'm going to do here is go over that with you now, and then I will edit this footage with the footage I still have of Mark, and then you guys have an idea of what we plan to do. So the first thing I want to do is announce the kit, and that is this one here. It is the Star Trek Mr. Spock kit by AMT. This is that classic kit that's been out for a long time, and the first thing I want to do is to show you the kit, and then I will go over with you what I have planned. So of course this is the original artwork that was included in the box many years ago. I've always loved it. So with this alien world here in the background, you got Spock standing on these rocks holding his hand phaser, firing it at this three-headed snake creature, and he has his communicator there, and the Enterprise there in the background. Always thought it was a cool looking illustration here, and they did a nice job with embossing it, so I think I'll definitely hold on to this container and be ashamed to throw it away. They actually include a mini poster here of this illustration, so that's really nice. And the model itself is pretty simple. We've got a base. Let me just go through the parts first. You see these are the rocks that he stands in and the pit that the creature comes out of. And then we have the Spock figure, which is about a 1/6 scale, I believe. And so we have his legs here and his arms. Got the phaser here. The phaser does look different to me than its original release. The original phaser, I remember not having a lot of detail. It's not actually the best looking phaser, but at least it looks closer to one. And the communicator too was enhanced in this particular release. I remember the original one did not even have an antenna. You know, I thought it might be cool to Dremel this out and include this one. This is one I had from some action figure, and I think it looks a little bit more like a communicator, but it's too large for his hand, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use what we have here. We've got the flowers. There's a petal to the flowers here. We've got a tree that is in the background, and then we have the snake creature. Now, the one thing about this particular model is that the sculpt of his face is not very good. It really does not resemble Leonard Nimoy at all. And there is, at least there was, a better looking head and face sculpt for this kit that was released by JT Graphics. In fact, Mark will show you his. He did get a hold of one. So I'll let you, I'll wait for him to tell you about that. I did actually search for one and I couldn't find one, but I did come across this. And so this, as you see, is Spock with a beard. So he's from, obviously, the Mirror Universe, and that got me into thinking of what I could do with this kit. So let me go ahead and show you what I have planned. The first is to turn him into the Mirror Universe Spock, and that means to alter his uniform. The uniform shirt obviously does not look like the regular uniform shirt. It doesn't have the braids or the chest insignia. So what I'm going to do is use epoxy sculpt to make it look a little different with a higher collar. I recalled him wearing some sort of high-necked black shirt underneath it, and it looks really like the dress uniform is what it was, but they had some badges, of course, from the Mirror Universe on his uniform as well. So that's the thing, is to alter his uniform shirt to look like that. And then the other thing we have to do is create a sash, because he wore this gold sash. So that's going to be a new challenge for me, is to use epoxy sculpt to make that look like the Mirror Universe there. And I've never really tried anything like that. Hopefully that'll work out. With regard to lighting, now, I actually always thought, I always imagined the flowers being lit up. I'm not sure why, but I thought it would be cool to add a lighting effect here. So what I have planned, you can see I've already kind of started the light blocking process here, but is to actually use two SMD lights, one for each flower here, that's going to pulsate red. So I thought it would make the flowers come to life and also add a nice lighting effect to Mr. Spock. And then, of course, we have this fluid here, which is, I always thought it was hot lava. I know it doesn't make sense for a creature to come out of hot lava, but I thought I'd play around with lighting this up as well and use some SMD, pulsating SMDs here that are orange in color. And I thought that would also create a nice lighting effect for the snake. Now, the other thing I thought would be cool would be to add a backdrop. In fact, I had this all planned out before I did the Batman project, and it is this idea that got me into thinking of doing a backdrop for the Batman project. But that's what I plan to do here, is actually replicate the look of this illustration. So I'm going to try and paint this and replicate this by hand first. If I can't quite get it to look right, what I'm going to do is scan this into my computer, and then I'm sure with Photoshop it won't be too hard to fill in the areas that are blocked here by Spock and the creature. And then the other thing I'm going to do is add an Enterprise here. Mark was kind enough to give me this little Enterprise from an old Space Station K7 kit. This is the one that comes with that kit there, and it's just the perfect size for this, so I'm going to go ahead and mount it into the backdrop and have it floating out about here. Okay, so in order for this to all mount properly, we have to actually put our base onto some wood, like I did with the Batman Joker project. And so we'll have the base mounted onto here with the backdrop coming back over this way, and then that will allow me to feed the lights through the stand here on the bottom and putting a switch on the back. Alright, so to summarize everything, I plan to make Spock into the Mirror Universe Spock, which will require altering his uniform, and then to add some lighting to the flowers and the hot lava, and then to create that backdrop. So those are my plans. Let's go ahead and see what Mark has in mind.
Purchased the aftermarket parts from JT Graphics. So I have a Spock head that is more accurate. It's a better likeness of Leonard Nimoy than what the original kit head actually has. So I'll be replacing that with this. And it also comes with replacement hands. It's got a more accurate phaser. And it also comes with a more accurate communicator. There's photo etch parts also included, and more accurate decals for his rank stripes and his badge that he wears on his shirt. So I'll be doing that. The other thing I wanted to do is I've always wanted to somehow recreate the phaser beam, and I've got a couple of ideas about how I want to do that. I have to try them out to see if they're actually going to work, but one of the things I've been playing around with is using some ultraviolet acrylic rod, if I can find a small enough diameter, and then illuminate that using a ultraviolet LED, which I would place probably inside the snake head. So that's one of the things I was considering. I'm also going to have some kind of a backdrop because I stole Augie's idea, but it's not going to be identical to his. I'm going to come up with a different background for mine.
That's great. Yeah, so your lighting is going to be to recreate that phaser effect,
Right.
And then pretty much paint him like he is here then, right?
Yeah, he's going to be in the traditional television series
Yeah.
uniform.
Yep. Okay, well those are our plans for the model kit. I'm definitely looking forward to getting started. You'll see us dive into this project in the next video. Before we go, I wanted to mention a couple things. One is I'm going to show you next some footage from Model Zona, so you get to see some of the beautiful work that was on display this last weekend. And lastly, I want to mention a website called AffordableModelKits.com. This was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers named Matthew. And this website that Matthew is affiliated with is going to be offering some unique wooden model kits. The first of which is this wooden calendar. You can see it looks pretty interesting. He contacted me and asked if I would just at least show you guys what this looks like, so maybe you guys might be interested in checking it out. Again, it's AffordableModelKits.com, and they definitely plan to offer more designs here in the coming year. So let's go ahead and take a look now at some footage from ModelZona.